everybody. Hope you're doing well. I hope you can hear me well. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. My name is Jeff Gibby. I'm going to be doing a legal disclaimer and introducing our guest today, and then getting out of the way. So I do want to say thanks for coming. I hope you are well. It's good to see you. Let's go ahead and read this. Okay. Today's demonstration is designed to instruct you in using Metastock and the accompanying software plugins. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Metastock and its employees shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with it. Metastock and its employees do not endorse the purchase of a security, nor are we paid for the promotion of a security. No information contained in this presentation should be construed as investment advice or the solicitation to buy a security. So, hope you all enjoyed that. If you didn't, well, I know you're going to enjoy the next part. So, Vince Vora has been a partner in Metastock and a friend of Metastock for a while now. I think it's been 15 years. When we created an add-on or a methodology based on Vince's work and Vince's instructions that has been very, very popular and very good at identifying and capturing moves in a market that's been just ever increasingly volatile. There's a few things that I'd like to say about Vince, and I'm going to try and remember all of them today. But Vince is very, very clear. He's concise. And every time he says something, I kind of understand exactly kind of like what he's talking about, and I get it. He's a really, really good teacher. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him on here. Vince, how are you doing?
I'm great, Jeff. How are you?
Good. Good. I can hear you just fine. Let's make you the presenter so you can share your screen.
All right.
Here we go. I can see you too. You're coming through good.
Great.
For some reason, I'll message Greg. I couldn't hear Greg very well. Could you hear Greg?
No, I could not hear Greg.
Yeah, I think he's got some issues with. I could barely hear him. So
right.
In any case, we can hear you. We can see you. I'm going to have you. It's your turn.
Okay. Thank you again. Welcome everybody. It's great to be back here. The team at Metastock is amazing. As Jeff said. They've been great partners of ours, and we're super excited to launch our second version of our Victory method, which the initial version launched, I believe, in 2019. Here we are in 2024, and we've made some nice upgrades. I think I really am happy with it. Also, we couldn't have timed it any better with the new version of Metastock 19. That, I've been using it more and more, and it's just a fantastic upgrade. The new look, all the new features, putting that together has just been great. So as Jeff said, I'm Vince Vora. I'm the head trader here at Trading Wins, and I've been in this business a very long time. It's getting close to 4 decades now. I've done quite a bit throughout my career, but one of the most enjoyable parts of my job is creating systems, and Victory 2.0 I'm very, very happy with. So let's get to the charts. I'm not going to bore you with any more slides. Well, I should say, for the legal stuff, just like Jeff did, trading can be very risky. So please don't trade with real money until you are completely comfortable with the system you're trading. Now, let's get to our charts. This is my Metastock platform, and what you're seeing on here is the Victory 2.0 add-on. If you have Victory, the first version, you'll notice immediately there's a number of changes here, some extra symbols along the way, along with these 2 bars down here. I will explain everything. If you're here joining us for the first time and seeing Victory for the first time, not to worry. I'm going to walk you through the system from start to finish. Excuse me. So let's have a look at what is on here. And first of all, I do want to say that Victory 2.0 is a system that's based solely on technical analysis. There are no fundamentals involved here. Now, you can certainly feel free to incorporate some fundamentals, but it's really not necessary. What the system is designed to do is keep you on the right side of the market, meaning keep you in a position that has a strong trend in place and has strong momentum behind that trend. That combination gives you a significant edge. And with the features that Jeff's team were able to program in here, I think it really is a significant edge when you're trading. So let's have a look at it. You see a number of things here. First of all, you see arrows, both green and red. You also see two different sizes. You have the smaller, lighter green and the smaller, lighter red. And then you see some thicker, darker green arrows. And in this chart, there aren't any, but you know, during a significant downturn, you'll see some thicker, darker red arrows as well. The smaller ones, and any symbol that you see, if you hover over that, Metastock's going to tell you exactly what that is. So the lighter green ones, smaller ones, are just new long positions. Now, please keep in mind that the intent of Victory 2.0 is not to take absolutely every single symbol that you see. Okay, we have a set of rules that go along with it, and we want you to take specific setups, not all of them. You know, when you grab a copy of the add-on, you will get a training class with it that will explain exactly which ones to take versus not. But during this, excuse me, during this presentation, I'm going to give you the basics. I'm going to tell you exactly what I like to trade, how I trade it, and which symbols I focus on. Okay, so the smaller arrows are just new longs or new shorts, and then the thicker ones, as you can see here, HPB stands for high probability buy, okay, or high probability sell in the case of a red one. Okay, so the difference between those two is for the Victory 2.0, we've added another couple of layers of confirmation with these signals. So when you see a high probability buy or a high probability sell, has a slightly higher degree of accuracy, it is a safer play than what you see here. So you definitely want to pay attention to those. You will also see these circles, or what we call dots here. What those are what we call re-entry signals. So there, for example, when I'm hovering over it, top right of my screen, you can see long RE, long re-entry, meaning we're already in a trade, but the criteria that came together, that the algorithm used to create the original buy, has come together again. Okay, so we only label it differently because we're already in a trade. So if you missed the initial signal, you can now jump in now, or if you're a little more aggressive and you open a position here, you can add to your position at each re-entry. Okay. And again, if they're long, it'll be a green dot. If it's for a short, it'll be a red dot. You'll also notice that once we're in a trade, all the candles are colored the same, you know, to keep you disciplined. So if it's a long trade, they're all going to be green throughout the life of the trade until we get an exit. Okay. If it's a short, they're all going to be colored red until we get a change in direction and an exit. Okay. So I want you to think of every color change as an exit. Now, you will see some exit flags like you do here, but if the system detects a sell, if the sell criteria comes together at the same time as the exit, the sell overwrites the exit. So we may just go from green straight to red. All right. Sometimes there are yellow candles in there. That's your transition period. One or two here and there, and they appear. If you see that, you shouldn't be long or short. You should be on the sidelines watching for that particular market. Okay. Now, you may be wondering what this blue line is. And as I hover over it, you can see it's the 20-period simple moving average. All right. Based on the close, just a 20-period simple moving average. The reason why we use that is to judge momentum. The higher the degree of slope on that line in the direction of the trade, the stronger the momentum behind that move is. So we want to see some type of slope in the direction of our trade before we get in. We want to avoid the flat areas. So if you see a 20 SMA that is flat, you want to try to avoid that area. Usually that means you're in a bit of a channel or a consolidation phase. And then we will teach you how to look for breakouts and how to take advantage of that breakout. Usually you see some pretty strong moves coming out of a breakout. But to keep it simple, the symbols we want to focus on are the longer shorts and mostly the high probability ones that have a significant slope in our favor and are entering an area where there's very little support or resistance. So it has an easy time moving ahead. Now, you can use this indicator a number of different ways. You can use it to judge the overall direction of the market. So on an index like this is the Qs, which is the NASDAQ 100. So is the NASDAQ currently in a buy, in a sell, or is it consolidating, right? To kind of get an idea of what the overall market is doing. You can use the S&P 500, you can use the Dow 30, etc. Or you can use it on individual stocks, ETFs, futures, commodities, Forex, for example, Bitcoin. I'm going to show you all of these things, and you can use it on any time frame, any exchange around the world. We have clients over in India, in Australia, in Germany, all over the place. It's strictly technical analysis, so it'll work on anything that you can, create a chart on. Now, a significant upgrade from Victory 1 to Victory 2.0 are the ribbons that you see down here. And you'll notice that one is labeled weekly, one is labeled monthly. That is because I am on a, sorry, let me go back here. I want to go on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, you're going to see weekly and monthly. You're going to see two higher time frames, okay? That's the way the templates were designed. The reason for this is we want to be able to confirm that when we're trading in a particular direction, so here's a perfect example. We get a long setup, right? We have that arrow. We have a very nice slope, a very significant slope upward on the 20 MA. We look to our left and there's no prior activity up here, no overhead resistance. What do the ribbons down here do? They tell us what the victory system is showing on the weekly and the monthly time frames. So since both are green, it means we're in an uptrend in a long trade on both weekly and the monthly as well. And that's what you want. You want daily, weekly, monthly to line up all green with momentum with very little overhead resistance. And that's usually when you get just a nice, easy move like that. Now, you'll also see the TP here, right? Take profit. So those, you don't have to, but those are just suggested areas where you might want to take some of your position off. So if you got in down here and now that it's pulling back, it's suggesting, hey, you might want to take some of your profits in case this continues, okay? Then we actually get an exit here. Now, it didn't last long, one day and we're right back in it, okay? And that's okay. Commissions are very inexpensive these days. Better safe than sorry. I want the system to get me out as quick as possible so we don't give back all our profits, right? So the TPs are just a suggestion of where you may want to take some off the table and continue to ride the rest of the position. Now, if you're trading on different time frames, so for example, let's say you're trading on a 5-minute chart, okay? We have a template here where if you're trading on a 5-minute chart, you're now going to see the 15-minute and the 30-minute, right? Those ribbons. And if you're on, say, a 30-minute chart, there is a template. Yes, that'll show the hourly and the daily. I thought I clicked on the wrong button. So this is a perfect example here, right? This is a 30-minute chart. We want to make sure that we're trading in line with the two higher time frames, the hourly and the daily. So if you get this short setup here, you got to ask yourself, well, you know, do we have a downtrend? We certainly do. We have it's been dropping for a little while. The higher time frames are both red, right? We get a setup near that 20. There is slope downwards, and we get a nice easy push. And you could add to your position here. You can take some off here. You can re-add to your position here, take some off here, etc. Any change in color, you are out of the full position, okay? Never hesitate to exit the full position on a change in color, one way or the other, all right? Now, before I get into more examples, I want this to be as interactive as possible. So if any of you have symbols you want to see, anything you want me to pull up a chart on to see what victory would be like on that particular security or index or ETF, whatever it may be, please put it in the chat and I'll bring up a chart of that. But before I do that, I wanted to show you one very interesting template that Jeff and his team created for us. If you right click anywhere and click apply template, and you can save it like I did most along the bar here on the left side. But there's what we call a Vora market overview multi-time frame. If you click on that, it is going to open here. Oops, sorry, apply. It is going to open all on one screen the four main index charts: the Dow, the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Russell here. So the ETFs, DIA, SPY, QQ, and IWM, and then 12 other sector ETFs. So basically, in one snapshot here, you're looking at the full market, right? You're looking at the four main index charts. You're looking at the 12 main sectors here. All right. And it takes a few seconds to load because it needs to bring in all the data for all of these different symbols at the same time. And what I have here is a daily on my left, a weekly on the right. You can change the time frames here if you want. But what this is meant to show you in a glance, if you look at the far right, is what is the market doing overall? Is it more bearish or bullish? So if you look down here, we got red, 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 a bit of green on the consumer staples, but the rest is all red except for utilities. So consumer staples, utilities showing a slight green on the daily time frame, but otherwise everything else is red. So you get an idea of what the overall market is doing in one quick glance, right? You just check this, at the beginning. I like to sort of do a top-down approach, start looking at what the market overall is telling us and then break down by sector and then to individual names. And this is a great way to do that. Now you can see that on the weekly time frame, on the higher time frame, we've started to go red on several of these now, okay? But we still have several that are green. But we're getting to the point where we might see all red here and all red here, and that's when you know you're in a strong move lower, all right? So let's get back to the charts here and start going through some examples for you. So this here was a perfect trade. Let me expand this so you can see it a little better right in here, okay? I want you to be able to see the candle, or sorry, the bar, the price bar. Now I use open, high, low, close bar. So there's the little tick on the left of the bar, which is the open price, and then the little tick on the right, which is the close price. And then of course you have your low and your high. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is when you're looking for a setup, I'm going to go through the criteria that I use specifically day in and day out with my trading. So the first thing I look for is the signal. We have a long signal. And the second thing I look for is the slope on the 20 SMA. It's there. That is a significant slope. What I consider a significant slope is about that, okay? Just like a 45-degree angle, but anything higher is better, okay? The higher the degree of slope, the better it is, the more buying pressure there is. Then, once I have those two things, I'm certainly looking at the ribbons down here for the two higher time frames. Are they in line or not? In this case, they are. Fantastic. Now we look at the actual bar. Where is the bar? Is it close to the 20 or is it far from the 20? I only want to take trades that are close to the 20. Reason being is when it pulls away from the 20, like it did here, it tends to snap back. So the last thing I want to do is get into a trade here and then have it pull back against me and exit down here. We want to keep our losses small. That is the most important part of being a consistently profitable trader, is keeping losses small. Now, the other thing we'll do in the training class is teach you our money management plan. And the money management plan alone will make sure you never take a big loss again. Now, you know, if you ask anyone to give you guarantees in this business, they're going to laugh at you because, you know, it's almost impossible to guarantee anything here. But one guarantee I will give you is that if you were to follow our money management rules religiously, you will never take a big loss again. Reason being, if you've seen me, if this is the first time seeing me, you don't know my background. When I first started, I took a heavy loss when I first started. Why? I wasn't experienced enough, thought I knew more than I did, and I was defrauded, honestly. I'm not going to waste time telling the story, but it was fraud that occurred, and I got caught up in it. But that is what made me sit back and think, how can I avoid this ever happening again? That's where the money management rules took place. That was about 30 years ago, and I've never, ever had another big loss again because I follow those 5 simple rules, all right? And we're going to give them to you. Now, the other thing here is that we're looking, or sorry, it was this bar here. Not only are we close to the 20, but look at where the close is. It's in the top portion of the bar, okay? So if it was a candle like this, or a bar like this, where we opened here and we went higher, but we ended up closing lower, okay? It's not what we want to see with a setup. What we want to see is that, it had a positive close. And then we would mark the high of that setup bar. We wait for this bar to close. We would mark the high, and then 1 tick or 1 penny above there, as soon as there's a trade above that high, that's when we would get in and go long, okay? The other criteria we want to look at is we want to look to our left, make sure there isn't a lot of activity here. Make sure there is not a lot of overhead resistance here, so we don't run into a wall. And then we want to look at the next earnings date. We don't want to get caught up in earnings, right? Just ask anyone who was trading Tesla, for example, right? And had puts on Tesla because it has been dropping. It has been a great, look at this short trade, right? Beautiful. It had everything we're looking for. It worked out beautifully, right? And guess what? We were out before earnings because we don't hold through earnings. And there's that bounce that could have taken all the profit away. Now, this may be setting up short again here, maybe another big opportunity coming up, but we want to avoid earnings at all costs. All right. So let's see. Reed wanted SPXL. I'll show you different time frames as I'm going through this and using these examples. I'm going to show you different types of markets as well. So this is the S&P 500 3x leveraged ETF. Now they can be great when they go in your favor, not so great when they go against you because they're leveraged either way, right? But usually on an index like this or any sort of ETF, you get a very predictable flow, right? Very clean charts. What you don't want is a messy chart. Reed, I'm going to come back to this in just a second. I want to show you what I mean by a messy chart. And I'm going to bring up the chart of Zoom. All right, that's a messy chart. If you see a chart like this, you want to run away. All right, skip it. Don't try to pick off entries here. Now, if you follow our rules, there's still some decent trades in here. But the reason why we want to stay away from this kind of mess is because no matter where you get in here, your chances of getting stopped out are extremely high. All right, it's just volatile, back and forth action, just volatility on top of volatility. You want to avoid it as much as you can. You want nice, clean, predictable, smooth charts, just like SPXL here. So look at any of these entries here. Do they meet the criteria we're looking for? Well, we have a long setup. That's number one. Slope is great in the direction of the trade. The bar is close to it. It's closing pretty much at the high, right? We look to our left. There's not any activity there. We look at the higher time frames. They're all in line. So it's a great trade, right? Well, look at that. It works out initially, but then stops us out. So here's the thing. There are no guarantees. We don't know what tomorrow brings. No one does. We all have opinions, but we don't know. So losses are going to be a part of this business. They are. They're a part of doing business. The key is to keep them small. And this is a perfect example. So this one didn't work out. Then we get a buy signal again. Does it meet the criteria again? Yes, it does. We have a long, the bar is close to 20, 20 sloping, close to the high, no overhead resistance, higher time frames in line. What happens this time? You go on a very nice run. And whether you were taking profits, adding more to it, taking profits, adding more to it, that's up to you. But beautiful run here. What we like to do, and we talk about this all the time in our live market chats that we have with our members, is we like to identify a setup, identify our stop, and then identify two overhead targets where we take a third off at the first target, a third off the second target, and then let the final third run until we get a change in color. All right. And again, all of this is in the training class that comes with the add-on. So perfect example here. And whether you're trading on the daily time frame, the weekly time frame, the monthly, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, you're looking for the exact same set of criteria. Okay. The exact same set. And as we go through these examples, because I know while you're listening to me, you're looking at all these symbols trying to decide, hey, does this system really work or not? Well, if you focus on the ones with the criteria that I'm giving you, you're going to find very few that don't work. And the ones that don't, remember, the key is get out with a small loss. Now, there's one thing you cannot protect yourself against in this market. Well, I won't say can't protect yourself against, because you can with the money management plan, not with the technicals. And that is a gap. And that's why we avoid earnings. Most gaps are on earnings, but there can be negative news, right? So for example, let's say we got in here and the next day or that evening after the market close, you know, some country fired a missile at another, and now the futures drop like a stone tomorrow. The market opens down here. You might look at that and say, hey, that's a big drop. That would have been a big loss. Well, no, it wouldn't have, because of the money management plan that we put along with this. You may get a full loss, still won't be a big loss to overcome. But this is where your edge is, in having a strong trend with strong momentum behind it and entering with an an entry in an area where there are specific indicators that come together, all line up behind the scenes, giving you a high probability of success on that trade. And then the rest from there is just managing it, right? How long do you stay in it? Where do you take some profits off the table along the way? And again, we'll teach you all that. But let's look at a few more. GABF was another suggestion here. All right, that's a financial ETF. I can tell by the price bars here that this is not heavily traded by any means. It also looks like a oh yeah, it is a new ETF. Not much history at all here. That's why you don't see the ribbons color in. If you ever see blank space here, it's because there isn't enough history, enough bars here to calculate that. But even just using it without that, if you're looking at this setup here, let's go over it. You have your signal. You have your slope. Is the bar close to the 20? It is. Did it close near its high? Close right at the high. If we look to our left, is there a ton of activity to overcome? No, there isn't. We don't have the benefit of the weekly and the monthly because it's brand new, but yet you get a nice run. Okay, that's what it's all about here. Let me see if there's any other. Oh, so Dave wants to look at gold now. Dave, is it the symbol GOLD or just gold, like gold futures? I'm going to bring up gold, but let me know if you meant the actual GOLD chart. I can bring that up as well. But here's gold futures, the gold composite. So again, this doesn't work just on regular stocks. This is an example of this gold futures contract, right? Now, I love where we are with gold. I think we're going to be in a longer term uptrend here. And what I'm starting to do now is look at all those small gold miners and gold issues that, you know, have been out of favor for many years, and they're all starting to wake up now. Many of them are a lot less expensive than just buying gold itself and getting ready for nice setups. But here's another one of those almost perfect setups, right? Because you have not just a long entry, but a high probability entry, which means it's met a couple additional layers of confirmation. And look at the slope on the 20, it's there. Look at the bar, how close we are to the 20, closing near the high. You look to your left, and above here, above these highs, there's really nothing there, right? Nothing. That was the challenge, getting past this level where selling came in here, selling came in here, selling came in here, selling. So let me put a line across that, okay? That's where the breakout was, right? Right there. So if we waited to trip the high of that setup bar, would have happened on the very next day. In fact, that bar closed above that level and it hasn't looked back. Been fantastic. But again, you go back, look at here, look at the slope back here, right? There's a nice easy trade. If you're looking for a short trade, like here, look at the slope downward, right? This one called a sell here, but look at the slope. It was upward. We don't want that. Okay, I'm going to tell you in a minute that two things you can look for that will tell you if you should take this or not. But immediately when you first look at this and you see that the slope is going in the opposite direction, it should be a red flag. That is not usually a high probability setup. I will give you the two pieces of criteria that will make it a high probability setup in a second. But especially when you're first just starting out using Victory, what you want to focus on are the trends that are in existence already, have a significant slope in the direction of your trade. And so this one didn't here, but on this retracement, it's set up again. There's your short reentry. There's your slope. You know, you're looking at the bar. It's close to the 20, close near the low, the longer time frame here. Since we're on a weekly chart, you're only going to see the monthly ribbon. The weekly will be blacked out just because we're only going the one higher. And there you go. Now, why do we set targets and, take a third of our position off at the first target, a third at the second, and let the final third run? It's for this reason here. Whether you're in a strong trend, it doesn't matter how long you're in that trend for, right? But you get a real nice push down, okay? Here, what was the close that day? Here, 1700, 1740 or so. And, we came down to like 1620 or so, 1622, but then look, one big shot where if you had just stayed in this one shot here, one day could have wiped out all that profit, right? Instead, one of the things we do is target a previous pivot. So this would have been target 1 for sure. Here, you would have at least taken a third off. You likely would have had a second target here, and then your final third, you would have exited here. And that's how you add to your account. What I always say is when you're looking at your profit and loss statement overall as a trader, you don't want to see a big spike up followed by a big spike down, followed by another spike up and down and all over the place, right? What you want to do is see a big move during a nice bull market run when everything is trending higher, the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P, the Russell, and you're using this criteria. Those are the times when you will start seeing big gains in your account. Okay, it works the same in a strong bear market as well. But then when we hit a point like we're at now, where you look at the Dow, the S&P, the Nasdaq, you can't say that all three time frames, the daily, weekly, monthly, are in line. They're not. The daily is red right now. It's below the 20. The weekly is below on 2 out of those 4. And then the monthly are still green. They're still above. So it's a mixed environment. So what you want to do during that gray period, as I call it, is what you should expect is your account kind of going sideways, because you may be taking some small losses here and there, getting stopped out a little more frequently, but you're not giving it all back. That's the important thing. And then when the market resumes a trend up or down, you see another big move in your P&L. So this is what your account should do and not this. All right. Let's look at a couple more questions here. Vincent was saying, what great name, by the way. What time frame do you normally trade options on with this add-on? I personally, the daily time frame. So for me, daily, weekly, monthly is basically, my playground, but I take my trades off the daily time frame and I look for confirmation with the weekly and the monthly. Dave was saying, what criteria is an up or down trend in the 2 higher time frames? What makes them green or red? Oh, it's the add-on itself. So if we were to switch here, for example, to a monthly chart, what is the color of the bars on the monthly chart? Right here, they're green. That means this bar is going to be colored green. What color are they on the weekly? It's green, so they wouldn't be colored green. It works the same way. So if you're on the 5-minute template, it's looking at the 15-minute and the 30-minute, but all it's telling you is what color the actual add-on is on that time frame. So it avoids you flipping over to 2 other charts to confirm it. And it's really helpful, especially on the lower time frames when you're trying to analyze and make a decision on a trade very, very quickly, right? Let's look at a few other stocks. Greg wanted DVN as well. Let me just show you another example before we get there. Okay, here's Abercrombie and Fitch. Right now, if you look at this area in here, more or less, more of a consolidation than anything. I mean, the market had come down. It started to rally again, then kind of failed here a little, then crossed back above. So here, you don't have a major slope, do you? I mean, you can look at this and say, well, there might be a bit of slope in the direction of the trade, but there's not much. It's pretty much flat, right? So remember I said there's two pieces of criteria that you can use to confirm that this has turned into a high probability trade setup. So if you don't have slope on the 20 or you have negative slope, okay, you want to look for either a trade above a prior pivot high. So in this case, for a long trade. So from here, I'd be looking at this high. Now, why is that? Because if I'm trying to decide if the market has changed direction here, remember we were pulling back, we moved ahead, then we pulled back, but we gave up the 20, right? We didn't hold support there. We pulled back some more. And now we're starting to move higher. If I want to confirm that, yes, we're likely to go in that direction, I need to at least make a higher high. At that point, I would have a higher low, if you look at this low to this low. And then if we trade above here, I would have a higher high from here to wherever the next pivot is, right? So that is confirmation that we've changed direction and we're likely to go higher. The other thing you can use, if you don't overcome a prior high, but let's say we moved ahead here, let's say this high was a little higher, we didn't top it, but then it pulls back, and this time it holds support at the 20, right? Touches the 20 and bounces. Okay, it's what we call a successful retest of the 20. This was not a successful retest. This pulled back, but it broke through again. Okay, but if it bounced right here, that would have been a great entry there. So you can use, so here's an example here, right? We get this buy signal, but the 20 is not sloping in our favor. Price moves up, it comes back, and it bounces right off there. It holds it. Now, at this point, we did have some slope, but even if we didn't, this would have been a decent setup here. And look at what happened next, right? It was just a nice straight move up, just like here, a powerful move up. That's what you're looking for. This is, and if you get the higher time frames confirming it, remember, I'm on a weekly. That's why the weekly bar is not showing. We already can see the color. But the monthly is confirming it. And we look to our left, and there's very little overhead resistance. We have a clear path forward. And that's the idea behind the victory method. Let me answer a couple other questions before I show you a bunch more charts here. Let me see. Your chart is showing close to 5 years of data. Is it weekly or monthly or just bunched? Does it change if you're looking at different charts? No, I mean, what you should be looking for, if you're on a daily chart, you should be looking for about a 1 year of data. Now, you can use these zoom out and zoom in buttons to either put more data on or spread it out a little more. But what I like to do is, if I'm on a daily chart, I want to see about a 1 year of data. So if you look at this, we're nearing the end of April. Where did it start? It started at last May or the end of April of last year here. So we see a full year of data here. If you're on a weekly, I want to see at least 3 years. And monthly, I want to see as much data as I can, minimum 5 years, but hopefully a lot more than that. So that's the way I judge that. Now, let's look at a few others examples. And for example, Bitcoin, just to show you that it works the same on everything. So you look at Bitcoin versus the US dollar, right? What do we look for? Exactly the same thing, right? Which trades stand out here? What's an obvious trade setup, right? Any down here, why? We are close to the 20, we've got a slope. We look to our left, it's blank space. We look down here, both are green. We have everything we need. And whether you entered here, 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 even here, right? You're looking at making money. The last one, if you ignored all these and took this one, yeah, probably would have been a loss, right? But look at the size of that loss, very small. That's what you want. Look at this one here. Is there anything better? You broke out, right? You take off, there's always consolidations before the next breakout, okay? The only thing that could happen here is it doesn't hold support. So this pullback or consolidation, is it just a retracement before a continuation of the trend, or is it a change in direction? Well, for it to change direction, it would have to move below the 20 here. And you would know that right away. Here, it holds it, and we get a bounce. But you also have the higher time frames already in line with that. You look to your left, there's nothing but blank space. Look at the momentum, look at the slope, right? This line is sloping for a reason. It's looking back at the last 14 bars here, right? And it's averaging out the high to low on every bar and recalculating. So if it's sloping higher, that means price has been moving higher. That's the only way. It's straight math, right? And that's what we look for. And look at the size of this trade. So here's what we try to accomplish with this. Number one, if you follow the rules and you take the entries you're supposed to take, what you will find is that you should have many more winners than losing trades. You will have losing trades, but you should have more winners than losers. And secondly, your winners should be much greater than your losers. Just have a look at where these change colors when they don't work, right? Even if you got in here, you shorted it, even if you didn't take any profits along the way and you got out here, it's more or less a break even, right? You know, in here, let's say you took this, even though you shouldn't have, it's a flat 20, but let's say you got in, is that a loss, right? Very small. Yet compared to winners like this or back in here, that's why your P&L goes up, then it kind of flattens out, then it goes up again, rather than going up, then back down, up, back down. If you don't take significant losses, your account can go up, kind of stay steady, go up, stay steady. That's what we look for. All right. So what else was I going to show you here? Oh, Forex. How many of you trade Forex? Let's look at US dollar, JPY, Japanese yen, right? It's the exact same thing. Okay. The charts may look a little different, but what are you looking for? You're looking for setups like this or entries like this or any of these along here, right? Where you have confirmation of the two higher time frames. You have the momentum in the direction of your trade. And when you look to your left, there's nothing but blank space, right? That's what you want. That is your edge. And your job as a trader is just to exploit that edge day after day, all right? And the beautiful part of Metastock is that there are a number of tools that help you with this. Number one, if you're, let's say you're trying to get into this trade in here and you see this activity, but you can't really tell just by looking at it how much volume was transacted there, right? So if you want to use another tool that will tell you that, well, you type in volume up here in the indicators list and you look for volume by price right here, okay? Okay, and you drag that in. And let's bring that in. Now, we can move this over here. Okay. Now, I don't actually, Jeff might be able to help me with this. Where is it? I think we need, what is the, yeah, that's what it is. Oh, what was the setting? I think I put it at 50 here. Yeah, so you can play. I think I just typed in 250 by mistake instead of 50. So let me see if I can change this and correct that. Yeah. Oh, I can't seem to get rid of the 2 there. Will it go any higher? Yeah. Bear with me here. There we go. And apply. That gives us a better idea. Gives us a better idea of where there might be some volume. So you notice that once you clear this area, you see how these bars keep getting smaller and smaller? So if you're in this area here, it's an easy road ahead. Okay. But what we like to do a lot, and I'm just going to take this off for a second, is take trades that are near all-time highs, because there are areas, and I'll give you an example on the Tesla chart, why we've been trading Tesla to the short side more than anything. Let me go to the monthly. Actually, it's better seen on the weekly, I think. Let me bring in more data here. Oh, maybe not. Okay, let me just stick to the monthly. Oh, there's the wrong chart. My apologies. Tesla is what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is it. So let me show you this one on the weekly. This is what we've been watching for a long time. So notice how, if you look at this and we draw a line, we initially drawn it around the 200 level, somewhere around these lows through here. Oh, it didn't drag all the way across. Let me try that again. There. Okay. And notice this setup here, right? Right at that level. Look at the slope here. And why is that level crucial? Because look at the amount of activity above that line compared to below that line, right? The next area where there's a ton of activity is down here. So if we were to mark the highs of this area and take it across, that's what we're looking at. Okay? So a lot of people think, I'm crazy to make the prediction I made a long time ago, which was Tesla's going to $20 a share. And, being up here when it was 250, 300 and so on, that's a crazy prediction. But the reason why I'm saying that is there's virtually no support down here. There's very little activity in this area. So you can find stocks that have gaps like that, where they enter areas where they can quickly move. But there's nothing better than being at an all-time high or an all-time low, an area that's never been touched by this particular chart. It's just wide open. And so those are your best opportunities there. Now, the other great thing here is, let me show you a couple other pieces to this before I hand it back to Jeff. If you click up here on view and go to expert commentary, that's going to bring up this box. Now, this will tell you a bit more about myself and trading wins, etc. But what it will do is it will default to the most recent candle here, right? And it'll tell you what's happening here. So in this case, it's currently in a short position. It has been for a while. Now, if we can click above any bar and move that little triangle. Right now, I've got it up here, right? Or you can use the arrows up here and move it, okay? Now, notice when it moved where this arrow is here, suddenly it's telling you that the victory system currently indicating the end of a long opportunity. So all long positions should be exited. And the victory system is currently signaling a short sell opportunity. Now, as that develops and moves forward, you now start to see that there's a number here, right? It says it's currently in a short, and traders should look to exit this position if the price of the security closes above that level. What this is meant for is for those of you who can't watch the market throughout the day. You have a full-time job, family, whatever, and you're going to walk away, but you want to set a stop loss order. That it tells you what that should be, and as it moves forward, it adjusts that number. So it's 239.59. If we move another day, now it's moved to 237.95, right? And then 234.69. So it's like a trailing stop. So this kind of holds your hand throughout the life of the trade. It's really handy. The other thing is there's a scanner. If you click the power console up here, top left, go down on the left side here, 3 down to explore. And now you want to select what you want to scan for, which would be Victory 2.0. Now, these are alphabetized, so you'd have to go to the bottom here for all the Vora ones, okay? And there's a few different ones here. There's Vora Victory, what we call Vora Victory filtered, which means it's filtered for slope. So if you want to save your time and only look at the ones that have significant slope, you're going to look for the filtered ones. And then we have one just for the high probability setups, as well as the re-entries, those dots, okay? Now, if you right-click on any of these, if you're going to be using them on a regular basis, what you want to do is right-click, okay, and then add to favorites. What that'll do is create this tab right next to all explorations here, and so you'll only see the ones that you want to use. You don't have to bother, scrolling down and looking for them every night. So you check off what you want to do. You come down here, you pick the list of stocks or the markets that you want to scan. And then on the right side, you pick your time frame. So if you're trading on a 5-minute chart, you pick 5-minute. I trade on the daily, so I'll select that. This box will confirm what it is you're scanning for. You click Start Exploration, and this box will pop up. Okay. Now, notice there's 5,691 charts. This is because I like to look for all optionable stocks, right? I'm not going to let this run now, even though it only takes a couple of minutes to go through that many charts, right? But I've done this scan already, and I will show you the one idea that I like tonight. So here's a trade idea for you. NRG, which is NRG Energy. Okay. Let's go to the daily chart here and have a look. Now, here it is. So this is a very clean, very orderly, beautiful looking bullish chart, right? Price goes from bottom left to top right. You can clearly tell we're in a strong uptrend. Look at the slope on the 20, very significant, right? We get a high probability signal. Here it is. The bar is close to the 20. The close was in the top half of the bar. If we look to our left, there's nothing but this. This is the prior all-time high. That's how close we are. Look at the weekly, look at the monthly. They're all lined up. This is textbook. Is it 100% guaranteed to make you money? No, it is not. Like I said, not every trade is a winner. But if you take this type here, by far, you should have way more winners than losers, and your losers are much smaller than your winners. So taking this gives you an edge and usually results in this type of trade. Okay, so that is an idea. I think I'm out of time. I'm more than happy to answer more questions, look at more symbols, anything. I'm going to pass it over to Jeff, and he'll let you know how you can grab a copy. And Jeff, you let me know if there's any other questions.
Yeah, for sure. We one of the things that kind of came up in the chat is instead of searching it for it, you can set it as your favorite, or and then that way you can just click it in the favorites box. That's a comment from Greg. Right. He wants to know, we calculate the slope number, and it's something that kind of was shown in the commentary, and he wants to know if there's a best slope number for a long trade.
The slope number? Yeah. For me, it's 5, which is what we put on the filtered scan. So that here, the filtered Vora Victory filtered, that will only give you issues with a slope greater than 5, positive 5, or greater than negative 5, right? The positive 5s are for longs, the negatives are for shorts, but it won't identify anything else unless it has a slope greater than that. And so that's what I use, and that's what we've put in there. And it works quite well.
Just out of curiosity, as a follow-up to that question, like if you have something that comes in as a 20 and something that comes in at a 5, you're going to look at both of those, right? You want to be able to see what that looks like on a chart.
Absolutely. Again, in our training class, what we're going to show you is the bulk of the time is spent on how we compare one setup to the other. because the idea is to run the scanner, get a short list, right? But still, let's say there's 8 different stocks listed on that scan as good candidates for that evening, right? Doesn't mean you're going to go out and buy all 8. You do not want to do that. One of the money management rules is to spread your trades out. You want to select 1, maximum 2 of the highest probability trade setups on any given night if you're trading off the daily like I am, right? So how do you select the best 2 out of those 8? That's what we're going to focus on. Slope is obviously one of the major criteria. The higher the degree of slope, the better it is, right? But, you know, the size of the bar, where the bar is, the resistance or support, all of those factors come into play, and we'll show you all of that.
All right. Last question. Vincent wants to know. I think he has a pretty cool name.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. How well does it work on a 1-minute chart?
You know what? Here's the thing. It'll work on any time frame, any market, any exchange around the world. We've tested it. But keep this in mind, that what you're going to see on a 1-minute is obviously a lot more back and forth. So for example, if I switch to a 1-minute chart on NRG here, first of all, if you're going to trade something as low as a 1-minute, you need volume. So NRG obviously has volume. And so you can see here, just like this trade, it would have met the criteria and did very well. You look at this short here. Now, we don't have a template for the 1-minute. So what I would do if I were you is, if you're going to trade off the 1-minute, you want to look at the 5-minute and the 15-minute chart. And Jeff, we had talked about adding additional templates to this at some point, right? Maybe we can do that as well. But as long as there's volume, it's going to work the exact same way, whether it's a 1-minute chart, a daily chart, weekly chart, etc. But keep in mind that the higher the time frame, the smoother the price action, right? Because, for example, you're showing a monthly chart here, okay? Within one bar, you have a month of activity. There's a lot of back and forth that you don't see in that bar. So a weekly, a monthly will smoothen things out, okay, and show you a better picture. But the way I look at it is the time frame that you choose to trade on should be based on how long you expect to be in a trade. So if I'm going to trade off the monthly time frame, it means I'm going to be in that position for several months, okay? Which is why I like the daily. I like to be in the position for about a week, week and a half, no more than that, right? If we catch a run, we're going to stay in longer, but on average, you know, a few days to a week and a half, that's what we're looking for on the daily. If you're in on a 1-minute chart, you're only in for a few minutes at a time. So I hope you're very experienced if you're doing that, because if you're just starting out, I would encourage you to go to the highest time frame and work your way back. Okay, you don't want to start. A lot of people think they're going to start trading and trade a S&P E-minis on a 5-minute chart, and they get destroyed because they're not ready for that speed, right? So yeah, Jeff, can I, before I hand it over to you, just shamelessly plug the membership that goes along with this add-on? Because we have a membership at Trading Winds, and we have members that have been with us for 8-9 years now. What we do is we meet 3 times a week live on Zoom. We open our cameras. We're there for an hour to an hour and a half, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we talk about the state of the markets. Our main thing is to look for trade ideas, right? And answer our members' questions. So you can come on live, spend that hour and a half with myself, and ask me any trading related question you want. Ask me to analyze any chart you want. It's a really interactive, really great group. And there are traders from all over the world, many that have many, many years of experience, some just starting out, and we help each other out. It's a lot of fun. We also send out a nightly recap. So I create a 10-15 minute video every evening about what happened in the markets that day, what I'm expecting for the rest of the week. And that's where I share my trade ideas. So I do my scan. I show you exactly what I'm doing and the ones like NRG that I'm planning to trade there. And we do that for every night that the market is opened. So it's a great group, and that comes along. You get a year of service, a year of that membership with the add-on. So with
I
that,
want to
Jeff,
add something to that, if that's okay.
yeah, go ahead.
The thing that I like is if you have a question that you can't make the broadcast, you'll get a recording. But if you have a
Right.
question, you can email it to Vince in advance, and he'll answer it during the session. So
Yeah, perfect.
really cool.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
All right, very cool. And I like the newsletters too. I like the ideas. I think you do a great job with it. I actually want to talk a little bit more. I think that's the end of the question. Oh, Lynn asked, does this work with options only? And I did kind of clarify that you can use it with options. If you go to the commentary, it will tell you, suggestions in terms of options you could look at if you want to trade options. But you can also just buy the stock, or
Sure.
you can also use it with ETFs. You can use it with coins. You can use it with pretty much anything that you want to.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And that includes futures, Edward, from YouTube as well.
Yep. And we have students, we have members using this on different exchanges over in the Nifty in India, in Australia, in Germany, all over the place. So it's technical analysis. So it works the same way. You're just bringing up a different symbol. That's all it is. Yeah.
All right, very cool. We have a question about cost. That's my job. I'm going to take over.
All right. Thank you.
Very, very nice having you in here. Maybe I make me the presenter real quick. I'll go ahead and show my screen and also turn on my camera. And we'll go ahead and just kind of make a few changes here. One of the things I want to kind of talk about, and it's probably in the slides, but the Vora victory method, we released the very first version in 2020. Actually, I think it was November of 2019. And it was designed to really capitalize on volatile markets. And boy, we had no idea how volatile they were actually going to get. But it's been such a successful and such a powerful add-on that it took us a while to kind of figure out what we'd improve about it and kind of how we could make it good. It was so good, they're like, well, how can we do better? So we came up with the idea of kind of having the additional ability to look at the higher timeframes in the template automatically. We came up with the ideas of showing you kind of the heat map. That heat map's really cool. You can apply that heat map to, if you're doing a 1 minute chart, Vincent, and you want to see what all those industry groups are doing on a 1 minute basis, you can. If you want to do that on anything up to a weekly, you can actually look at any heat map you want, including monthly. Once you get above monthly, some of the ETFs just don't have enough data to do quarterly or yearly, but you can open up that heat map and look at any time frame that you like. And so if you want to see how things are kind of headed today, what sectors are moving today, you just set it to like maybe a 30-minute and just look at kind of what the heat map looks like. So I love this add-on. I think Vince did a really good job with the expert commentary. You can set up to give you alerts. If you have a chart open and you want to know when a take profit event happens, you can have it pop up an alert on your screen and email it to you. The scanning, we added the triggers, the filtered, and we added the preferred in here as well, and the system test. So very, very good add-on. Here's what we added for it. The new hop wrap ability buy setups, the scans for those as well. The take profit suggestions where you can kind of look to actually take profits. The multiple time frames so if you're looking at daily, you'll be able to see the daily, the weekly, the monthly. If you're looking at 5 minutes, it'll show you, I believe it's like the 30 and the 60-minute chart. And the same with 30. There's pre-configured views that show you the higher time frames in that ribbon. You get the dashboard. You get the explorations. We added the exploration, of course, for the preferred setup. You get the expert advisor, the system tested. Is a very well-rounded and very, very popular. People are really, really kind of loving the new stuff that we added. I think we did really good job with it. So here's a layout that's included, and this will load. It gives you the daily, the weekly, and the monthly as a view. As I said before, you can actually change this to 5 minutes, and 30 minutes, and 60 minutes. And it does take, as you saw when Vince loaded it, a little bit of time to load, but we're literally loading, I think, 12 different instruments at 3 different time frames when you look at it in this view. So it's going to take a minute, but it does give you kind of that clear idea of what's going on in the market. So Vince talked a lot about this, things that we added, take profit suggestions. So when you get to a point where you're profitable and you can take some of that off, it gives you that as a suggestion. You get the high probability buys, and then of course that multiple time frame analysis is all included as well. So here's a list. We had a question of the Vora 2, or what's included is scans. Here they are. You get Vora Victory filtered, the re-enters, and those are all original to Victory. Those we didn't change. They were perfect as is. We did, of course, go in and we added those new high probability buy signals and sell signals as well. So you get those, you get the expert advisor. Vince did a really good job of showing those, just to kind of iterate on like a little bit of what these include. They include entry recommendations, exit recommendations, suggestions for stop options. Like for example, if you look in here, it's going to tell you, okay, you could consider the kind of this expiration. It's going to last this long, etc. It gets really, really detailed on terms of if you're doing an option trade, what you could look at and how long you're going to be planning to be in that trade. You get stop losses, you get trend analysis for the Vora slope, and if there's a high probability notification, it will also be annotated. So you get the system test. It's actually a full add-on. It takes advantage of all of what we really consider special features in Metastock: the ability to get your chart annotated, the ability to get alerts, the ability to get commentary, the ability to find opportunities. All that's just included. And I say it all the time. It's not something that I'm bashful about. I think one of the things we do absolutely best is that ability to go through and scan it and just say, okay, well, if I'm doing an option trade, there's 5,400 optionable stocks. I don't want to look at 5,400 optional trades. Why don't you show me the ones that have an opportunity? And I think that's so incredibly important with your platform. I wouldn't be able to trade without scanning. Not as efficiently as I do anyway. So we now include 2 of Vince's other popular systems as part of the package. So when you buy this, you're going to get another complete add-on that's called Vince Vora's Veracity. You're going to get another add-on that's called Vince Vora's Winning Momentum System. Those are just included. And as Vince had talked earlier and kind of talked about the service that he recommends, I just actually, well, I've been a member of the service. I actually requested service for another employee in Metastock who started to use Victory because I know how good it is. Kind of gives you some ideas. Might give you an idea on a daily basis, an idea on a weekly basis, and sometimes there aren't any ideas. But it's a very, very thorough newsletter that you get. It has daily trading ideas. He does 3 weekly sessions. Those are available. They're recorded. You can watch them later. And it also does include some on-demand. So that 1 year of membership by itself is $1,200. And we also actually wanted to show you this. This is on my desk right now. And I thought, well, I should show this. I went and grabbed it. But during the boot camp, one of the things I said in advance of the boot camp is, Vince always talks about some stuff that I'm very, very interested in and that I find very informative. He's really, over the years of working with Vince, kind of shaped the way I trade. I love it when he says, let's look for stocks that are at all-time highs because there's no resistance above it and stuff like that. Right? Well, one of the things that I actually printed out from the last bootcamp is his daily checklist. And here it is. And I was like, well, that's really, really interesting. And so these are things that I now keep in mind while I'm doing the training. So the bootcamp that he did, we sat down and we actually recorded a live webinar. There's a lot of questions. We did a lot of answers. He did kind of the first part where he kind of talks about kind of the trade identification and all that kind of stuff. And he did a really good job. After that, I came in and I did a pretty decent job of showing you how to set up your explorations, your expert advisors, how to kind of do different things in Metastock. And that's available instantly with your purchase because we want you, obviously, we do back this with a money back guarantee, but we want it to work for you. And so that's available instantly. I'd recommend you go through it. There's some really, really good information on it. So as part of this overall package, it seems like for some reason, these slides are a little bit off center. And I'm not sure really what's driving that, but it is bothering me. Let me see if I see that. It's just like they kind of got moved over a little bit. Let me, okay. That's way better, just a second. So you're gonna get the Victory 2.0, a powerful update to our most successful add-on the year we released it. Very, very popular. You're going to get veracity. You're going to get winning momentum system. You're going to get the boot camp. You're going to get that 1 year of pro membership. The value that we're putting together here as part of the package, if you just priced all those individual things separately, would be $5,657. And the introductory price that we're doing for today is just $997. So basically $997, that'll get you Victory 2. It'll get you veracity, it'll get you winning momentum system, and it'll get you that 1 year of trading wins pro membership. I know a lot of you have used Victory 1. I appreciate that. I hope you used it have used it as much as I have over the years. It's a really, really cool add-on. If you have Victory 1 and you haven't upgraded to Victory 2, I'd recommend you do it. It's been very, very well received. Customers really like it. We will give you, if you have Victory 1, a discount of 50% off of this introductory, or a discount of, I believe it's $797. We'll give you a nice sizable discount on the upgrade. So to take advantage of that, again, just give us a call. If you don't have a copy of Metastock, I'll say a few things about that though. If you don't have Metastock yet, it's been rated the #1 software program in its category. And as of this year, it's won that award from Stocks and Commodities Magazine readers. It was called the Reader's Choice Award, 31 years in a row. We'll give you a free month of Metastock so that you can get started. We'll set you up with a boot camp class, the Vora Victory 2, all of the additional add-ons for that, the veracity, the winning momentum systems, and we'll back it all with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Try it out. If you don't like it, if it's not helpful for you, if it's not something that you like, let us know. When we'll give you a full refund on it. So you can do this by giving us a call at 800-882-3040. You can go online at metastock.com/saleschat, and you can set up for it right there as well. And you can also go to metastock.com/TW-victory. I'm going to put that in the chat here too. Greg, I can almost hear you. Yeah. There we go. I actually just put it in there. Thank you for doing that. Don asked the question real quick. Is this recording going to be mailed out? If you go to youtube.com/metastock, you can find it right now if you want to. We'll email it to you, Don, in 1 hour. So there you go. All right. Greg, thank you very much. Vince, I want to say thank you for coming in. Appreciate that. All the work you've done over the years. This is a great add-on. Appreciate you doing it. Give us a call. Help us if you're interested in it. If we've missed a question, you have them. Our sales staff is really good at kind of helping get answers. So give us a call. 800-882-3040, metastock.com/salesjack, or metastock.com/TW-victory. Thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you learned something. I'll see you at the next one. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Kelly Clement here from Metastock. Before you go, I have 2 quick things for you. 1, thanks for joining us today. We love having you here at our webinars and viewing our videos. So what I'd like to invite you to do before you go is like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us a great deal, and it helps us bring you more awesome content like today's video. The second thing is we have a great ebook on trading that you can get for free. If you go to metastock.com/YouTubebook, you can get a free copy of The Secrets of Successful Traders. It's a great book with lots of content from traders just like yourself who can teach you some of the secrets that they have learned. Thanks for taking a second with me and learning about those two things. Thanks for joining us, and keep on trading.